Hey my good friend, Sam Haymart with Test Driven TV. Today we're test driving the Honda CR-V Hybrid, and this is a fully loaded sport touring model. So we're gonna have a good look at it inside and out. We're gonna take it for a drive, and then I'm gonna tell you what it's really like to live with. All right, my friends, the Honda CR-V was completely redesigned recently, and the one we have right here is a 2023 model. It rolls into 2024 nearly identical. The one we have here is a Sport Touring, which is the top trim grade as tested. This one is just a tick under $40,000, and for 2024 they raised it about $1,000, and now it's just a tick under $41,000 for one identical to this in a 2024 model. Now, looking at the design, it is the most contemporary set of lines and details you're going to find from Honda, although this looks a little bit more concave and a little bit more chiseled than some of the sedans, I think, especially looking at the front. I like the inset with the headlight and the way it has sort of an aggressive look in its sculpting there. Gloss black trim everywhere. This has full LED lighting all around. And looking at the wheels, this has 19-inch alloy wheels with 235/55 rubber. Up on top, black roof rails. This one has a sunroof and this beautiful color. I like this color. It really lights up in the sun. In medium to dark light, it almost looks black. As far as blues go, this one really stands out. Moving around to the back, the rear hatch, of course, is a power opening hatch, LED lighting at the back, a built-in spoiler there on that rear hatch. Coming down to the lower bumper, one little detail I've got to point out, I always kind of pick on these things. If you look at the right exhaust, it's got a nice blow-through exhaust embellishment there, but to keep it symmetrical, they put one on each side, but the one on the left is fake. It's a fake exhaust. Yuck. Why are they doing that? I expect that from some brands out there, but not from Honda. I mean, come on. Don't do that stuff. It's just not good design ethics. So the interior of the CR-V is a place that shows the latest Honda design language of interiors in pretty much the same way we've seen it in the Civic and the Accord recently, only a slightly different variation. I like that they've come up with a wonderful new design that they've rolled out into all of their vehicles. There is a commonality across the entire showroom, and that's high quality materials, a steel mesh vent that spans the entire dash with hidden vents. I really like it. And the switchgear, as expected in a Honda, is of a very high quality. It feels good, it's got a good tactile feel, and it works well. Now, because we are in the fully loaded model, this has the nicest trim that you can get in the CR-V. Leather seats. These are heated leather seats, and they've got some nice orange accent stitching on them. They are so comfortable. Honda makes some of the best chairs in the business, and almost every Honda I've ever sat in, I could literally sit here all day. They are power adjustable here, and the driver does have memory settings. The steering wheel also has leather on it, and here we have paddle shifters. Now, these aren't to shift the transmission, but rather they are to adjust the regenerative braking, and we'll talk about that more when we go on the drive. Ahead of me is a rather unique instrument cluster. It looks trademark Honda. I've got a dial on each side, but the entire left half of the instrument cluster is actually digital, and that allows me to look at a bunch of different types of information, and it allows me to customize it quite a bit, and it's just a nice setup. I like it. Over here in the center, because we're in the top of the line, it's got a 9-inch infotainment touchscreen, which we'll talk about separately. And below that, a full set of hard controls for the HVAC. And down below that, a nice big cubby here. This one has a wireless phone charging pad in it, and also ports for plugging and charging and connecting, as well as the 12-volt port. Behind that, a nice conventional shifter. I love that, even in a hybrid. Some brands out there give you little toys and knobs and whatnot. I like the fact that they've kept it sporty. And the drive mode selector and some of the other ancillary controls are off to the left. Nice cup holders down low, so you can put tall gas station cups here. Not going to be in the way. Now inside here, a nice level of storage. There's a tray at the top. Here I've got my glasses and my parking garage ticket. But down below, There's enough room for actually about 2 of those rectangular tissue boxes, a nice deep well down there. They've taken advantage of the space and the height here. And right above me, as I mentioned, is the sunroof, and this is a conventional sunroof, not a full panoramic moonroof, which I do like those, but I sort of like it when they keep it simple. The back seat of the CR-V Hybrid is one of the most comfortable and well laid out livable spaces that I've sat in this competitive set. The seating height is excellent. I've got a nice comfortable position here, as you can see. Looking forward, I've got a lot of space. These seats are set for my height, about 5'8", with my tennis shoes on. I've got about 6 inches ahead of my knees. I could have a 6-footer or larger sitting up front with this seat a little bit further back, and I'd be fine. And the comfort of these seats is good. They're not too hard, and they have a little bit of side support, so I can sit here and be here all day. There's 3 across seating, so there is a center seat and a seat belt for them, but you can put down this nice armrest that does have cup holders in it if nobody's there. There are vents on the back of the center console. Very important, like right now, it's blowing on me. It's over 100 degrees outside. And down below that, there are USB ports for charging devices on those long trips. Another thing that I like about back here is that the trim treatments haven't been cheaped out on like they've done on the Accord and the Civic. Back on those cars, they don't have the same trim treatments on these back doors as the front doors have. Here, they've continued it to the back, so I don't feel like I'm sitting in the cheap seats back here. Now, these seats, they do fold down in a 60-40 split so that you can open up that cargo area and have a full cargo space. I will point out, though, as you can see, there is a bit of a step up. These seats don't fold completely flat and give you a flat low floor like some of the competitors do. With the seats up, you can see that there's still a pretty good space back there. Now, one thing I want to point out, though, is that if you try to pull that lower floor cover up to expose maybe a spare tire, you're going to find that you can't do that. If you try pulling it up hard enough, it actually snaps up. It's made to stay shut. You'll find that they've actually put the hybrid battery underneath the cargo floor where the spare tire would normally be. So here we have a fix-a-flat kit, no spare tire included, and that space back there really can't be used for storing anything or stowing anything away because A, it's not easily accessed, B, you really can't put anything in there that would threaten the ability for that battery to get rid of its heat. Bummer. And the thing is they've got this really high seat here. Most of the competitors put the hybrid battery under this seat, and so I would have expected, with all the room they have here, that's really what they might have done for better packaging and given us the opportunity to have a spare tire, especially since we're in an SUV. So as I sit here and look around this interior, I'm very happy with the quality of the materials. I'm very happy with the quality of switchgear, and I love this design. The one thing that I would say is that some of the versatility is a little bit lower because of the fact that they put that hybrid battery in the space where the spare tire normally would be. So things like that sort of make me go, some of the other competitors out there not only offer a spare tire, but they have extra storage space back there that you can use. So overall, this is an interior that's well done on the surface, but when you start living in it every day and looking at the competitive set, it falls a little bit short. This interior gets 4 out of 5 stars. The infotainment system here is the top of the line 9-inch touchscreen, and it has all of the bells and whistles. It's got a 12-speaker Bose audio system. It has satellite radio, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Those are wireless. It has navigation. Here, this is native navigation. It comes with the vehicle, no subscription required. I like that. And when you look at navigating and working your way around in the menus here, this is very well done. It's got good graphics. And I've really come to like this system from Honda. It's a little bit old school, I might say. It's not quite as razzmatazz and maybe forward-looking as some of the systems like what Hyundai might have, as an example. But I like the fact that it's something that's driver-centric, it's easy to use, and the sound system is great. One thing I will chew on is the fact that at this price tag, a lot of the competitors out there have a full 360-degree view in their camera system. Here we only have a single backup camera. Not a big deal, but just pointing out that a lot of the competitors offer that. Nonetheless, this is a system I'm very happy with. It gets 5 out of 5 stars. All right, my friends, are we ready to go for a drive? Now, the first question I always ask is, how does it go? It's got a nice sound, and it sure sounds like it's shifting gears, but it's not. This is one of the few hybrids on the market that gives you a simulated shift algorithm, and it feels pretty real and it sounds pretty real, and it sure sounds good too. Got a nice sound. So power, I would say, is medium. Under the hood is a 2-liter gasoline engine, Atkinson cycle, and it's paired with the 4th generation Honda hybrid system. It has 204 horsepower. That's in combination of both the gasoline engine and the electric motor. The gasoline engine itself has about 145 horsepower, and the electric motor that actually provides most of the traction power has 183 horsepower. So it's a very powerful electric motor, and because of that, it has a very powerful electric only mode. So this is a hybrid that can spend more time under electric power, and it can also give you more power with that electric motor than some of them. This has got a nice personality to it. It's got good power, good sound, and with the drive modes, I'm in sport right now, which is one of the reasons why it has that cool sound. And it's noticeably louder when you put it on the lower modes. That sound goes away and it becomes more mainstream. So if you're worried about that sound, don't worry. When you put it on the just default drive mode, it doesn't sound like that. So I'm a sporty kind of guy. I like the sporty sound. Yeah. So this is a hybrid that doesn't necessarily drive like one. It's just got a nice personality and a good level of power. Now, fuel economy. This is rated at 40 city, 34 highway, and 37 mpg combined. That's really where it didn't quite meet the mark this week. In my week with it, I got about 31 mpg, quite a bit less, and that's almost all city driving, so it should have been closer to that 40 rather than the 37 for combined. It's still pretty good for an SUV in this class, but I just would have expected a little more, being that it's the hybrid. So this is a powertrain that I'm very happy with almost everything about it, except for the fact that it really could have been just a little bit more efficient. This powertrain gets 4 out of 5 stars. As far as the ride, drive, and handling experience goes, this is a chassis that's got all of the boxes checked. It's got a McPherson strut front suspension, it's got a multi-link rear suspension, it's got all-wheel drive, and it's got that Honda feel to it, which is to say, it feels solid, it feels precise, and the steering has a light feel to it. It just feels of quality when you're driving it around town and going over speed bumps, manhole covers, the larger speed humps, and other irregularities in the road around my neighborhood. I find that it just feels, you know, sort of a step up for its price. Got a high level of refinement, and I like that. Refinement's good. Out on the highway, it's very stable and quiet. It's got a good on-center feel and very little wind noise. That goes to good aerodynamics. And the brake feel on this has an entirely 100% brake-by-wire system. And that means that you don't necessarily have the brake feel that you would get with a conventional hydraulically braked vehicle. But you know what? It actually works pretty good. It is a lot better than a lot of the other hybrids I drive that have even partial systems that give you a little bit more feel. To me, it feels completely natural, and that's a good thing. It's easy to modulate, and they work very well. This chassis gets 5 out of 5 stars. It's just a pleasant, comfortable, yet sporting drive. Okay there, so we've taken it for a drive. We've had a good look at it inside and out. I've scored some of its higher topics. Now it's time to talk about, is it worth the money and is it competitive? Well, who are the competitors? The closest two that I know and that I've driven and spent time with are the Toyota RAV4 hybrid and the Hyundai Tucson hybrid. And of those two, I would say this is well above the Toyota, both in interior design, comfort, quality, as well as the driving experience. It's just sharper, it feels more solid, it feels more upscale. The Toyota tends to feel a little bit more Rubbermaid, a little bit more mainstream. This feels like you spent a little bit more and you got what you paid for. Now, relative to the Hyundai, I would say they're pretty neck and neck. Now, some people hear Hyundai and they go, ew, that's like cheap, low grade. No, it's not. It just isn't anymore. Hyundai builds some of the best, most reliable, well-built cars you can buy today. And the JD Power numbers as far as reliability and satisfaction back that up. And so I really put the Hyundai and this vehicle neck and neck in terms of competitiveness, right? Feature for feature, dollar for dollar. In fact, the Hyundai Tucson hybrid that we're testing next week, exactly the same price, nearly exactly the same features. And we'll probably do a competitive video on that with these two both and sort of put them side by side. But that aside, the one thing we don't have here is the level of efficiency that I would have hoped for. We don't have the warranty coverage that Hyundai offers. Hyundai offers a much longer warranty, and some would argue, well, Honda doesn't need it. Well, having a Honda in my garage that's out of warranty, yes, it would be nice to have a longer warranty on that thing, because when they do start breaking, they cost money. You know, the Honda dealers aren't exactly cheap. But all of that, I'm sort of getting in the weeds. In the value quotient, I put value at 4 out of 5 stars. When you put that in with everything we've already talked about, we're at 4.5 stars for the review. Exceptional. That's a very good score. Nearly a perfect 5-star car. So there you go. I really enjoyed it. It drives wonderful. It's comfortable. And I think it looks pretty sharp too. Yeah. So if you like what we do, see our latest video right there, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel right down there and click the little bell and make sure you get notified of when our next test drive is published. Yeah.